What's up, y'all? It's a Fuego. Lately, I've been getting into the sad astronaut genre of movie, and all I can say is that this is wild. From a man surviving months alone on Mars in The Martian, to the wildly fast communications that must have powered the telecom in the midnight sky, to the robots originally created to fight wars, repurposed for intergalactic space travel, these movies show how grueling it's going to be, both technically and emotionally, to save the human race if and when something happens to our planet. But that's not what we're talking about here. It's easy to see how science fiction movies and tropes influence research, even if you haven't seen a particular movie. My original thesis idea had something to do with using drones to capture and create 3D worlds, and everybody told me that this was related to the Spider-Man movie. And honestly, they were low-key right. But that's because a lot of these ideas are recycled throughout movies, based on existing research and very much possible. So today, I'm going to be breaking down some of the computer technology behind the 2014 sad astronaut movie Interstellar, starring Matthew McConaughey. The premise is a sad astronaut classic, Earth is ending and we need to find a new home movie. Technically, it not only touches on the future needs of research in space travel, but also physics, agriculture, and robotics. I've also heard that a lot of the science in this movie is pretty accurate. There are 3 scenes that I want to discuss in this movie. The first scene where our lead seems to hack a random drone. Another scene in which this 4-pronged walking robot is able to navigate this world with punishing gravity with ease. And another one in which the onboard navigation systems fail to work because they're traveling through multiple dimensions. From these scenes, I'm going to talk about research topics that are happening right now that can actually make these future technologies a reality. Let's get into it. So in this first scene, we have our lead and his family, and they're in this truck and they're driving, and somehow they see this drone and decide to start following this drone, right? Somehow he's able to hack this drone. Now, there are a few things to understand here. First, drones like this definitely exist today, but his quick ability to hack the drone is somewhat surprising to me. If this was an autonomous drone, there must be some sort of wireless communication on that onboard computer that would allow someone to get root access to essentially hack it. From there, he would have had to know what control systems exist, how to stop the autonomous control, and how to manually take control of the machine. If it was a fully manual drone, you could somehow take control of the drone by transmitting along that frequency your manual controls. However, that would require in-depth knowledge of the drone and an up-to-date idea of how the API works for manual control. Now, it's clear that this character has some sort of science experience, so this isn't completely unrealistic. Many drone control frameworks can be standardized across devices. The most common framework is ROS, which also stands for the Robotic Operating System, and it's often called the Linux for robotics. It's a sort of overarching operating system for robotics platforms, and it operates on a node-based system in which the nodes can communicate with each other. These building blocks allow roboticists to build really sophisticated applications, including those for the simulation and real-world flight of drones. It's actually what some of my research projects use. As far as research goes, this is a multifaceted system, so there's a lot of things you could look into here. If you're interested in autonomous navigation using vision or other sensors, you could look into machine learning methods for the automatic navigation and control of drones. If you're thinking about smooth and agile flight control, trajectory planning, or other related tasks, you could look into the space of UAV controls, as this is a hard task and there's a lot of research being done in this space. If you want to make sure people like the main character can't hack into drones, you could look into cybersecurity or general system security to make sure that it's not so easy to hack into such a system. So in this next scene, we have some of the characters on a random planet, and this 4-legged robot is running around helping them do things. This robot is wild. Not only can this robot converse naturally with some sort of semblance of human humor, but its speed and agility compared to its size is shocking. If we look at how this robot moves, it has 4 independent spinning legs that can sometimes morph and convert into arms. It's waterproof, and it can withstand crazy amounts of gravity with ease, and it does this all in real time. If we get down to the basics, this is a kinematics problem. Not only does this robot need to look into the world and make decisions on what to do, but it needs to know exactly how to move each one of its joints to complete its desired task. If we look at its other capabilities, it can also listen to commands, detect humans, and a whole host of other intelligent capabilities. Many of these systems exist in isolation today. We have voice assistants and advanced robotics, but it's very rare to see these kinds of intelligent capabilities coupled into one single system. If you're really interested in this kind of research, understanding what component of the research you care most about and studying that deeply is a good approach, but there's a huge need for researchers who think about these intelligent systems and integrate and test these kinds of systems in a practical setting. Now on to our last scene. At some point in this movie, our astronauts travel through a wormhole. I'm not going to get into the physics of wormholes because, quite frankly, I'm not a physicist, but essentially you move faster in 3D space by moving through a higher dimension. This is clearly not something that we can research with the current technology that we have today. However, in this scene, this character stated that they couldn't actually do anything about navigation. Looking at the specific application, flying through a static wormhole, what would controlling navigation do for travel? Many of the applications we think about today focus on improving the human experience. So if we were to focus on making the ride as smooth as possible for human travel, we could automatically try to make different control adjustments on the spacecraft and see which responses to which external forces make the ride as smooth as possible. This can also be thought of as reinforcement learning. Now, I'm not sure this would really work in a multidimensional travel case, but it is inspiring for programs that we can create in realistic situations like autonomous driving and autonomous flight. I love watching these movies when I have no idea what to do in terms of next steps for my research. Even if you don't directly steal their ideas, it's always nice to be inspired. While there are some things that are unknowable and ultimately impossible based on the laws that govern our reality, we also have to understand that theory isn't actually reality, and that's why researchers exist. Well, that's it for this video. Comment down below what movies inspire you. See you on the next one. Later.
I wanna take you home to mama. I wanna buy you diamond rings. Make sure that you're happy. Show you everything.